Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
Great to be with you on the show today. Yes. Good to see you, sans taco hat.
Yes, I did wear my taco hat last night at the State College Spike game. It was Walking Taco Tuesday and for Bigfoot Country Legends, and so I wanted to support. I wore my taco hat, all shiny and beautiful, and I feel like I rocked it.
Oh no, it really was you.
It was all me. It was all me.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to begin with pettiness.
Pettiness?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Where are we going with pettiness?
Well, let's start with Jerry. No, I'm just kidding. The WNBA players, for whatever reason, have a bug about Caitlin Clark. And it's been from the second she entered the league. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you who I think the 10 best guards are in the WNBA. I can't tell you because, no offense, I don't really watch any of the games. But she was rated as the 9th best player at her position, which I think is point guard, right? And she's 9? Like, no offense. I mean, like, the other players are in that league are having a real problem with her that they don't understand that she's their Tiger Woods. I think it took a little while for PGA golfers to accept that like Tiger was Tiger until like the purses started increasing and and he's winning and garnering ratings, and when he's not in the tournament the ratings drop. I'll give you a good example. The Fever were supposed to play a game last week. The price online was $75. When they found out she was hurt and couldn't play, you want to know what it dropped to?
What it dropped to?
Pick a number.
$13.
Too high.
Too high. 6?
Too high.
4?
Too high.
2?
3. It went from $75
$3
on whatever StubHub or whatever you want to do with it, Ticketmaster, whatever, down to $3 because she wasn't playing in the game.
It's a bit of a change,
right? They don't understand, or they are too blind to see, or have too much pride to see. That's the golden goose. For whatever reason, they don't seem to get it. I realize that, hey, we're the ones that put this league on the map, and they'll think, you just knock it off, okay? Right? Okay, one generation does set up the next generation all the time. The league is still alive because of players like you. It's still there, despite the $50 million in losses last year. Okay? They lost 50 last year. Okay? And that's with her. But they're going to get a better deal, collective bargaining and so forth, because she's there. Okay? Look, Tiger Woods, they may have resented him when he first got there and the whole thing, but when you've got, like, I don't know, they were talking about the rivalry between Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods, and Mickelson got up, he says, look, because of him, we've got more money. We got bigger purses. I mean, he said that, okay? He didn't go out and say, hey, it's because of me. No. We got a lot of guys out here who can play, blah, blah. He says, no. He says, look, we're all getting more money because of him. Pretty direct, okay? Now, it's because of what Bobby Jones and Gene Saracen did and Byron Nelson did and what Ben Hogan did and what Arnold Palmer did, what Jack Nicklaus did, what Tom Watson did, right? That led up to this, but then he came and captured it all in the TV era, and everybody went, wow. And, okay, now look where the ratings are. He's not out there. She's the same way. She is to this league. She is this league's Tiger Woods. Right? And they can't accept it. And it's something that has been bedeviling for a long time. There's been a league always surrounded by a level of pettiness where they just don't get it. right? I mean, what? I mean, Asia Wilson's a terrific player. That's fine. Hey, her teammate Alicia Boston's a terrific player. Fine. Right? Angel Reese is very good. Fine. Right? But guess what? Okay? It may hurt them to think this, but they don't move the needle. Mm-hmm. She does. Right? Love her or hate her, whatever. But, I mean, every time you turn around, there's something surrounding her in this league. Right? And the league has been hurt this year by her being hurt twice. Mm-hmm. And I'd see stuff like this, and it's like, okay, don't let pride allow you to cut off your nose to spite your face. Mm-hmm. And that's, so the pettiness part. And I see, and they go, what are you guys doing? Right? And be thankful you've got somebody that's a drawing card in there. Mm-hmm. And then maybe people will notice you more too.
I do have a topic to bring up to you. So we discussed yesterday when it broke, the news broke of Miles Turner signing for the Bucks, 4 years, $107 million. And then the news subsequently 5 minutes later was that Damian Lillard was being waived.
Gone.
It is the largest contract of a player to be waived in NBA history. He's getting, of course, 22 point something million dollars for the next 5 years over the course of it being waived. And by the way, it happened on Bobby Bonilla Day, which I think was fitting, that he is now going to get paid July 1st for the next 5 years.
Perfect.
22 point something million dollars.
Perfect.
Sometimes things line up, Steve.
Perfect.
Sometimes they do. The thing I wanted to discuss, though, was the Miles Turner piece of it. Mm-hmm. So I want to start with the Bucks, because that's the Damian Lillard side of it. So the Bucks are essentially paying Miles Turner, give or take, $50 million a season,
right? Because
of the Damian Lillard money. To get Miles Turner, they had to do this with Dame. So it's essentially a $50 million a year contract for the next 5 years, next 4 years. Mm. And then they have one more year of Damian Lillard. By the time Dame's money runs out, Miles Turner would be a free agent. They will have that year finally stopped paying off the trade for Damian Lillard, and at the same time have had it on the books all these years. And while that's all going on, by the way, over these next 5 years, they're still paying off the Drew Holiday trade. They originally got him in to win the title, and they're paying off the Dame trade. And they've got Miles Turner, who essentially is a younger replacement for Brook Lopez. But I ask you, Steve, who's replacing Damian Lillard on that team?
They've got to come up with somebody that's going to run the show there.
They have to come up with someone to run the show. I don't know if Jamari Boye, even though as great as he was for San Francisco back in the NCAA tournament a few years ago, I don't think he's the guy that's going to be it for this Bucks team.
No.
And
look, they're a mess.
They are
first,
mess is nice. They're dumpster fire.
Let's start with this. Let's start with this. No offense, even on a today scale, Miles Turner's not $50 million a year. Not even on a today scale. Okay? You want to know what I think he is? On today's scale, today, 15 to 20.
Yeah.
And so you pay 3 times what I think his actual today, and I'm not going back to like the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever. No, I'm talking about in today. He's a very good player. $50 million, you should be a great player.
Yes.
Like great player. Like Giannis is a great player.
He's getting 54 a year. Right? And of course the number is the hypothetical, including Dame's number in there, but that's how they get him, is by using Dame to drop it down. With Damian Lillard's full number, they're paying him almost $60 million. So they're saving $8 million a year, but not having Damian Lillard or whatever it is. I don't know.
The bottom line is that the NBA acts as if they have monopoly money, because they've got this $7.6 billion a year TV deal, which was brilliantly negotiated by them. They did a great job with it, getting ESPN, ABC, NBC back in the mix, and the Amazon Prime contract. So they accomplished an incredible goal in doing that. Remember, when they get a contract like that, they are the league that has the fewest individuals to pay. Hey, Major League Baseball, you have 26 on the primary roster. The NFL, you got 53 on the primary roster. Okay? Primary roster in the NHL is 26. Right? They only have to go to 17 with the two-way players. So this is like monopoly money to them.
Yeah.
All right? And and the neat part about it is that they get away with nobody watching the regular season.
And I want to. So the other piece of this contract for Miles Turner is where I want to get to next. So Miles Turner plus Damian Lillard plus hypothetically the contract Brook Lopez would cost about the same as Damian Lillard's total contract plus Brook Lopez.
Sure.
Those two combined, give or take, equals just Miles Turner, which is when the Dame number and the cap holds and all of the craziness. Part of the reason why Miles Turner got this level contract of $27 million a season, I believe is what the number ends up being. Ends up getting up to about 28, but it's $27 million a season. He was projected to get about 21, 22. The the Pacers apparently offered him 3 years, 65. It was around this 3 years, 65 to 3 years, 70 million, in that range. The problem is they thought they were going into a market where no one had cap space, because no one does, bar the Brooklyn Nets. They thought, no one's got cap space. No one's going to make space. What could possibly go wrong here? The problem with that is that you forgot the fact that teams can do things to make cap space, and they can do extreme things to make cap space. So they were trying to really hardball Miles Turner. Pacers.
But what they offered him is actually what his market rate should be.
The problem then
It should be.
And then what happened was Naz Reid signed a 5-year, $125 million contract, $25 million a season, which of course then raises the floor for Miles Turner, because he's probably the same player, if not better, on the defensive end than Naz Reid. He's like 25 to probably 30, somewhere in that ballpark would then be where he gets to. So all of a sudden you go from 22 to 27. It's an extra $25 million over life of contract. That's a lot of money. So what do the Pacers do? They don't match it, or Miles Turner says, I'm out of here because you can't give me that number. He then leaves. If you're the Pacers, you don't have the money to go and sign somebody new. It was either bring Turner back or get nobody.
There's also not a lot of options out there.
There's not a lot of options either.
Okay. This is the thinnest free agent period I've seen in the NBA, maybe since they went to the July 1st. New Year line. Where they had the tampering period. Was about 5-6 days?
It was a 5 or 6 day window. Right.
Since they went to that a few years ago, where we got one Woj bomb after another. In other words, the team called him.
That was great.
Woj was like, wow, how did Woj find out? I don't know. They called him.
Yeah, they called him. Agents called him.
League called him.
Get a text. Miles, Laker, whatever number, so on and so forth.
And so it would be like, oh my goodness. There is no oh my goodness signing in all this. In fact, the biggest single move where you sat back and went, wow, was Lillard being cut.
Yeah.
There's nobody signed where you sat back and went, my goodness, that changed the balance of power. Because Durant was traded.
The last free agent signing that, like last season, the biggest average annual value person that moved teams, but outside of Paul George, because that was Paul George. We've discussed him enough. Isaiah Hartenstein was the biggest at $29 million. Outside of that, you had Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in 2024 as well. You go to 2023, that year, Fred VanVleet moved teams. That was the only one above 22. You then go back to 2022, and then you've got, Jalen Brunson. That is it. It's Jalen Brunson. It was the last big move. But even he was like, everyone thought the Knicks overpaid for him. So that was a whole other type of deal. Free agency is not the same as it was because the CBA makes it so you are more incentivized to retain your players because you have the ability to give them more, and they want more money because who wouldn't want that much more money? Like the whole idea of the Luka trade to the Lakers is that he's losing out on $100 million something because he can't sign the Supermax that he would with the Mavericks. So now you're sitting here the only free agents left that have had an average annual contract of like $5 million plus that are a center. You've got 39-year-old Al Horford and 29-year-old Mo Wagner. You can't sign either because you don't have the salary cap space to. You can get them on like a $5 million mid-level-y type of deal.
Sure.
Are either of those guys moving the floor for you next year, Steve? Especially with no Tyrese Halliburton because he's out for the year with an Achilles tear.
No, they got a problem.
They have a problem. If I were them, I would try and pray I can get into the lottery and do what the Mavericks just did.
Yeah.
As the Mavs did, and as Nico Harrison has said, he fell ass backwards into Cooper Flagg. You better fall ass backwards into some sort of good lottery pick for a center next year.
Right.
Because I don't think Isaiah Jackson and Tony Bradley and the ghost of James Wiseman are doing anything for you.
No.
So that is where they're at. That's where the Pacers are at. That's where the Bucks are at. And we're just sitting here watching players get snapped up left and right. And
yeah, but they're just getting snapped up. It's not changing the balance of power in the league. There's nothing trades have changed some of the balance of power. Kristaps Porzingis gets dealt to the Atlanta Hawks. Drew Holiday gets dealt to the Portland Trailblazers. Kevin Durant gets dealt to the Houston Rockets. It's the trades that were made, and then LeBron opting into the final year of his contract with the Lakers. Those are all the biggest moves that were made that have an impact on the race. Nothing else that has happened since has had an impact on the sport or the race to be number one. Now, signing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to a $285 million contract, that's an impact. Okay? But he stayed. He didn't move. He stayed. And this is, nothing's changing in this league. Nothing has changed. You may have picked up a piece that depth-wise makes you better. Right? Depth-wise. Not starting impact, but depth-wise, which is important. Because you're going to, because you can't play all 48 minutes. But nothing, they've attempted to make a lot of news in the last week and a half and have made very little news.
Yeah.
The draft went about the way they thought it would go. Cooper Flagg going 1. Okay. The Sixers passed on Con Knippel, another big mistake. Got to give them credit for that. They're good at it. It's all part of the process. And, their process is trying to make an omelet with no eggs.
Yeah.
But these are like, there's nothing happening that is changing the balance of power in the league, except for the injuries.
It is
Lillard, of course, now has nowhere to go, but he's coming off an Achilles. Halliburton, now Indiana's exponentially weaker Achilles. Jason Tatum, okay.
Boston's had to change around their roster, and they're weaker without Jason Tatum.
Weaker.
Without the players
the Celtics may still be a playoff team.
They probably will be because the East is weak.
But they're not. But they're not hosting They're not hosting the first 2 games of a series playoff.
They are a bottom half of the Eastern Conference playoff picture.
No doubt.
Seed because they're sitting here. The Knicks are better than them. The
Cavaliers
Knicks,
are
Cavs, Pistons.
Yeah,
Hawks.
Like I
Magic.
said, they're 5 through 8 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're 5 through 8, maybe up through 10, somewhere in that ballpark, because Jaylen Brown is good enough to do something.
Sure.
Same with Derek White.
Right.
Anthony Simons can put up points and hit threes like the rest
Simons
of them.
actually was a good pickup.
He's a really good pickup, and he's a heck of a scorer.
Yeah.
So they are still going to put up points.
Yeah.
The question is just how good can they be?
Right.
We'll see what Joe Mazzulla does with this team.
They're 5 through 8.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where they are, and that's just the reality of it. It's Cleveland, New York. I mean, they're the 2 teams that would be the top 2 in the East. Oklahoma City's still the best team of all, and they're just going to get even a little bit better as time goes. But the league has made a lot of non-news news. You sit there, you don't think I sit there and go, oh my God, Naz Reid, what does that mean? I'm like, so who cares what that means?
Yeah, the only real news is the Damian Lillard stuff, because that is like, you don't see a player getting waived for $112 million any given day. Like that's a thing.
But you know,
that's news.
But he hasn't. Even when he was healthy, he wasn't playing to that level.
But still, a 2-year, $122 million waive. That's
I understand.
That's news.
It's news.
Top 75 player of all time. The whole thing. He was an NBA top 75 player a couple seasons ago when they announced it. The point is, that's news. That's news. That's okay. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander signing the largest.
Who's behind him?
Let me pull up the NBA top 75 list in order. We have. He was number 75.
He was 75.
Just behind him was Bill Sharman, who played for the 1950 Washington Capitals through the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, Sharman was the champion. Yep.
Yeah.
Coach of the Lakers at one point.
Mm-hmm. So Sharman was behind.
Who was? Take me 60 through 75.
Give me 1 second to pull it on up. 60 through 75.
Yeah.
I'll go 74 down. That's how it goes.
Sure.
74 was Dave Bing.
Oh, Dave Bing was
73. Dave DeBusschere.
That's Jim Boeheim's roommate at Syracuse, and was a great player.
Mm-hmm.
Great player.
73. Dave DeBusschere.
Oh yeah.
72 was Billy Cunningham. 71 was Anthony Davis. I know.
Well, no, he's better.
Yeah.
He's better than those guys.
He's really good.
He's better than those guys.
70 was Dolph Schayes.
Yes, the master of the set shot.
Number 69 was the greatest college basketball player of all time, Carmelo Anthony. Greatest one and done of all time. I'll clarify real quick. Greatest one and done player of all time, Carmelo Anthony. 68, Russell Westbrook. 67, Dennis Rodman. 66, Paul Arizin. Arizin. Yeah. 65, Lenny Wilkins. 64, Hal Greer. 63, Robert Parrish. 62, Paul Pierce. 61, Dave Cowens. And 60 was Sam Jones.
Sam Jones, a great shooter.
Yeah.
Dave Cowens, inside-out player. Robert Parrish, actually, he's played. I believe Robert Parrish played more games than anybody in the history of the NBA.
Well, LeBron is 50 games away from breaking that record, by the way. Fun fact.
Which he'll get.
Yeah. Oh, he'll break it this season.
Right. That's one of the all-time great trades because Red Auerbach acquired Robert Parrish, and he also picked up the 3rd overall pick in the draft. Kevin McHale.
Not bad. Going through the rest of the top 75, because while we're here, may as well. I'm intrigued by your thoughts here. This is 3 years old, but we're still going through it. Number 59, Tiny Archibald. 58, Elvin Hayes. 57, Willis Reed.
Elvin Hayes is a great player. Willis Reed was too.
56, James Worthy. 55, Earl the Pearl Monroe.
Oh, Earl the Pearl. Oh. See, now he's an example. Let's take this as an example. Talked about the ability to be the star of someplace, but then can you acclimate yourself to part star, part role, which Damian Lillard could not do. And a lot of players in today's NBA can't.
It's tough.
Earl Monroe was with Gus Johnson, Wes Unseld at one point. He got dealt to New York, and they said he'll never fit in. And he did with Walt Frazier. He and Frazier worked beautifully together. Bradley, DeBusschere, Willis Reed, great starting five. Dick Barnett. Phil Jackson was a sixth man.
54, Pistol Pete Maravich.
Oh, God, what a shit.
53, Clyde the Glide.
Oh.
52, George Gervin. 51, Reggie Miller. 50 was James Harden. 49, I think Harden might be a little high there. And he was great. At this peak, he was incredible. The problem is, doesn't have that. If you don't have a ring, I don't think you can be that high. 49, Nate Thurmond. 48, Wes Unseld. 47, Ray Allen. You know, greatest three-point shooter ever. Second, I guess.
Hey, great three-point shooter. Great three-point shooter.
46, Jerry Lucas. 45, Bob McAdoo. 44.
See, Jerry Lucas is interesting. Great college player. Great college player. Two-time National Player of the Year, Ohio State, the whole deal. Yeah, in the NBA, I thought he was always good with Cincinnati and the Knicks. But, so, all right.
So 44, Bill Walton. 43, Jason Kidd. 42, Gary Payton.
Oh, Bill Walton should be ahead of Jason Kidd. Yeah, but that's the best. That's the best passing forward. Mm-hmm. Now injuries play a role in what happened, probably in the rating of this. But that's the best passing forward I saw in the NBA ever.
I think the only one who's going to rival him now is going to be the man who's 30 years old over in Denver. Is probably the only one who's going to rival him.
Yeah,
Jokic. 41, Walt Frazier. 40, Patrick Ewing. 39, Kevin McHale. 38, Rick Barry. 37, Steve Nash. 36, Dominique. 35, Bob Pettit. 34, Bob Cousy. 33, Kawhi Leonard. 32, Scottie Pippen. 31, Allen Iverson. 30, Dwayne Wade. Any thoughts on those guys?
No, I mean they're all great players. Wade, the biggest element about Wade is this. You can talk about the years LeBron and Bosh were there, but he also led them to a title in 2006.
Yep. They traded for Shaq, and he was the leader.
He had an older Shaq, but Wade was the man.
29, Chris Paul. 28, George Mikan. 27, Isaiah Thomas. 26, John Havlicek. 25, David Robinson. 24, John Stockton. 23, Karl Malone. 22, Charles Barkley. 21, Kevin Garnett. 20, Elgin Baylor.
John Havlicek should be in the top 15, quite honestly. Havlicek was an unbelievable player. He won with Russell. He won without Russell. As time went, he got better. Havlicek should be in the top 15. I just think he was just an absolutely remarkable, understated, underrated player who just played basketball. But that's just me.
So 20 was Elgin Baylor. 19, Jerry West.
Elgin Baylor was Michael Jordan before Jordan.
Jerry West, 19.
Jerry West, what a shooter. What a player.
18, Giannis Antetokounmpo. 17, Dirk Nowitzki. 16, Steph Curry. 15, Moses Malone. 14, Dr. J. 13, Hakeem Olajuwon. 12, Kevin Durant. 11, Shaquille O'Neal. 10, Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
Number 9, we have Oscar Robertson. 8 is Tim Duncan. 7 is Larry Bird. 6 is Bill Russell. 5 is Wilt Chamberlain. 4 is Magic Johnson. 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. 2, LeBron James. And 1, Michael Jordan. I don't really have a problem with the top 10. I really don't. I don't know what you move. Like I know a lot of people my generation would say move Kobe up. I don't think you can put him over any of the guys above him.
Well, I would put Bill Russell third, and I put Wilt fourth.
Okay. And then Magic Johnson, you move.
Back. Oh, look,
at that point, you're splitting hairs, not top 10.
Right.
Like 1 and 2 and 3, I think you've got Kareem, LeBron, and MJ.
And I'll say this about Wilt. Wilt would be great today. Oh, they don't play the game that way today. You're not going to throw the ball in there to him? What are you going to do?
He also could defend the rim.
He was a great shot blocker. I mean, the only thing he couldn't do is he was not a great free throw shooter. Right? And that's why when he scored the 100 points, the remarkable stat of the night was I don't know, what was he,
21 for 45 or something.
No, he's like 28 or 32 and only missed 4 all night.
Dang. I thought it was the other way around. I thought he missed like a boatload.
No.
Okay.
That was on that night when he scored 100, I think he only missed 4 free throws.
It's not bad.
Which was a big reason why he was able to.
Bad. I'm looking at the list. I don't think I have really an issue with that.
Like I said, Bill Russell won 11. Okay?
Yeah.
11 titles. Everybody knows he was the pivotal guy around it. Okay? The 2 guys in front of him combined for 10. Combined for 10. You add in Wilt, they combined those 3 for 12. He was part of 11.
Yeah.
Okay. Russell in his career, between the University of San Francisco, where he won 2 national titles, between the University of San Francisco, the Olympic team, and the Celtics, played 21 do-or-die games.
It's not bad.
You want to know what his record was in the 21 games?
20-1 or something.
21-0.
Not bad. Not bad. I just don't know if I move him. I know he's not getting above.
He's not
the top two.
He's not the great scorer. Okay. He's the great winner. Okay. Wilt's single biggest problem as to why he had 2 titles
was Bill Russell.
Now, yeah, did the Celtics have Sam Jones, Casey Jones, Bill Sharman, Tommy Heinsohn, John Havlicek, Tom Sanders, Larry Siegfried? Sure. I mean, there's some great players on those Celtics teams, right? Hall of Famers all, right? But Chamberlain had big nights against Russell, but he did enough to keep him enough at bay, whether it was with whether it was with the Warriors, the Sixers, or the Lakers. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Lakers acquired Chamberlain because they thought that was the key to put them over the top to beat Russell. And Russell still won the darn title.
Yep.
With everybody else. Don Nelson hit a big shot in Game 7, in Russell's last year, the whole thing. But Magic was great and dynamic, no question. But Russell is and Chamberlain's numbers are like, I'm listening to somebody the other day. I was driving back from Williamsport, and Cooper Flagg gets picked. And, of course, they start talking about the usual off-season bluster where you're just filling time.
What? We've never done that before.
We give a lot of information. We don't just fill time.
No, we fill time with information that's positive. The difference here.
Right. They were talking about what kind of season could he have. It could be one of the all-time great rookie seasons, blah, 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 blah. Wilt Chamberlain, in his rookie year, averaged 38 points and 21 rebounds a game. Right. Over here in the back. That's the all-time greatest rookie season.
My favorite thing is whenever there is a new record being set or something happening, it's always the first player to do it since Wilt. Almost every single one is first to do it since Wilt because he owns just some absurd records where you're like, he averaged 45 over how many games? He averaged 30 and 20 and 12 over what?
An incredible athlete.
Yeah.
A great athlete. Right? And would they have him 7th?
They had Wilt 5th. Bill Russell 6, Magic 4, Kareem 3, LeBron 2, Jordan 1.
Look,
I think 1, 2.
Look, Kareem's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay? Kareem's incredible. And Magic's incredible. Okay, so we're splitting hairs here.
I say we're splitting hairs basically amongst.
But I'm sorry. I know it's a bygone era, but Russell and Chamberlain were, to me, are ahead of those two because those two have done things that neither one of the other two guys did. Okay? I know Kareem was the all-time leading scorer, right, until LeBron finally passed him. But see, I saw Chamberlain play, and I saw Russell play, right, and I saw obviously Kareem play. And look, Kareem won what, 5, 6 titles.
Kareem won 6.
He won one with the Bucks.
6 championships.
1 with the Bucks, 5 with the Lakers.
And 6 MVPs.
Right.
And the scoring record and 15 All-NBA. And all that.
And 3 NCAA titles. Okay. He's phenomenal. Phenomenal. And Magic, of course, was fun, exciting, but to me, when you're talking about the 4 greatest players, it's Jordan, LeBron, Russell, and Wilt. Now, why Russell ahead of Wilt? Because he has the 11 titles. All right. And that, you can't duplicate that.
You know what's crazy that I just want to bring up? So I know we talk about records and all these things, I just want to bring up I'm looking at the NBA all-time stats things, and I would just like to bring this up because this season LeBron is going to break the games played record. He is currently he needs 50 to beat Robert Parrish.
Yeah.
Parrish had 1,611. LeBron is at 1,562. So in 50 games this season, he beats that record.
You're right.
LeBron is already the leader in points
Right.
at 42,000 and climbing. He is currently 4th in assists. He's not going to catch John Stockton. He's about 500 behind Jason Kidd. Mm-hmm. So he could conceivably in a few years catch him.
Yep.
LeBron is currently 6th in steals.
Yep.
He's probably going to get top 5. He's about 100 behind Gary Payton, so he's got a good shot to get top 5. Defensive rebounds, he's just about to get to 6th all time. He's currently 7th.
Oh, no. Look,
like
when you're a great player, but you start your clock at 18 and not at 21 or 22.
And you don't tail off
Right.
at 40.
Right.
He's still...
But he got 3 years advance. Like the guys we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay? Jordan entered after his 3rd year at North Carolina. So he was 21 when he entered the league. Right? Russell was 22. Okay?
Kareem.
Chamberlain was 22. Actually played a year with the Harlem Globetrotters before going to the NBA. Right? Now, Magic was what? 19. 20?
Yeah.
Okay. Kareem did not come in until he was 22 years old because he had to sit out his freshman year at UCLA and then play 3 years at UCLA. He doesn't come in until he's 22. So LeBron has a 4-year advance on everybody. I think Stockton played all 4 years at Gonzaga.
I think he did.
Right? And again, just to put it into perspective, the other guys did not start at 18.
Yeah.
Which gave him an opportunity, a minimum of 3 and occasionally 4 years, depending on the player, advanced number of stats.
Yeah. And
he already had built up stats by the time the other guys were being rookies in the league.
And his rookie year through his now current, 22nd year, he's been great. He hasn't really been hurt. He's played long into playoffs, too. Like,
Well, it's more than that.
But it's the fact that
more
he
than
has...
that. He went to 10 straight finals, and during the course of the 10 straight finals, he also played in the Olympics. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
Okay, that means you're not getting a break. You're still playing.
Yep.
And I talked about this a lot when he was doing it because he except for 1 year, and
He had the first year in LA. He got hurt a little bit. I think it was one of the years in LA. He was hurt.
But he didn't play in the Olympic team. And it was one of those, like somebody said, well, what about him not playing? I said, he's played in 3 of them.
Yeah.
I said, because he played in the 4, 8, and 12 Olympics. I said, well, how much you want him to do here? He's done enough for his country.
And then
he's been good.
And he went in 2024 to go play in Paris.
Right. But he's played for his country. Right? He's done it over and over again. I said, so if he elects to sit one out, so be it. That was the big thing about 2008 because I had made the statement on the show that when somebody brought up the Olympic team, I said there's only one phone call I'd make, one phone call only. I said I've got to have this guy on my team. I said it's Kobe Bryant. I said because Bryant did not play in the Olympic teams. I said and if the United States we want to win the gold medal, I said he has to be out there because the world caught up to us in 2004.
Spain.
But the world had caught up to us. They lost a bunch of games.
Yeah. But I remember I've watched the documentary of that 2008 Redeem team so many times, and they always discuss at the start of that game against Spain, and I think the group stages, Kobe said, they're going to set a screen on me, and I'm running through Pau Gasol, who, by the way, was his teammate, and they won titles together, and is the godfather of his children. And he said, I'm going to run through him. What does he do? 30 seconds into the game, shoulder into Pau, lays him out. And even Pau said afterwards, he was like, I didn't realize what just happened to me. I was like, who was that?
Right.
Huh?
Right. But again.
And he set the tone.
Well, it did set the tone because you had to have somebody that was going to be, to use a basketball term, the dog out there.
Yeah.
The alpha dog.
That's who he was.
All right. Which he was. I think it's the only Olympics he played in.
Yeah. He was the best offensive player. He also was the best defensive player. He was defending whoever he wanted. He asked Krzyzewski, I want to defend Manu against Argentina. Or Tony Parker. And he was like, I want them. I want that guy. Give me him. I want it. By the way, in terms of other records, I'm just going through right now. LeBron is 7th in 3-pointers made. He's gonna beat Reggie for 5th all time because he's 1 behind him right now. Sure. He's 5th in 3 points attempted. Free throws, he's about 1,000 behind Karl Malone. He's a few thousand behind him in attempts. Like turnovers, he has the most. Guess who's second all time in turnovers? I want you to guess. Current NBA player, current free agent.
Damian Lillard.
Not Damian Lillard. Same position.
Oh.
Russell Westbrook.
Oh, Westbrook. Oh, yeah.
And may I bring up a thing I want to ask you? So, looking at the records, and we're discussing LeBron and all these things, is there a record you look at across, let's go each sport, that you're like, I don't know if that's ever going to be touched? I know we've discussed these things over time a lot.
Well, Joe DiMaggio, 56-game hitting streak.
Joe DiMaggio hitting streak, number 1.
Yeah.
Give me something for basketball. I think there's a few. I think LeBron's point total is going to be real tough to get to.
Will Chamberlain, 100 points in a game.
Yeah.
Nobody's even come close to it.
No. Well, we've had a couple 80s in there and a bunch of 70s.
No, 70s. We have not. I don't think there's
Kobe
been
had
an 80.
Kobe had 80.
I think Kobe had 79.
And I think Kobe had 83. I believe. Kobe had 83, I want to say. Yeah, Kobe had 81. Kobe had 81, and then we had a bunch of 70s.
Well, think about that. Okay? In other words, let's put it in perspective for each one. Okay? Joe DiMaggio, you've hit in 40 consecutive games. You're 2.5 weeks away from tying. Okay? Kobe scores 81. Okay? Kobe is still 7 baskets away, all threes. 7 baskets away from Will. Right? In other words, that's incredible. That's awesome. You're still not close.
Yep. Yeah. Kobe had made 28 of his 46 shots, went 7 for 13 from 3.
Wayne Gretzky, 212 NHL points.
By the way, in terms of hit streaks, before we get to Gretzky, the next closest is Willie Keeler, who had 45. Yeah. He was 11 games back of DiMaggio, a full 2 to 3 weeks behind DiMaggio.
And Pete Rose.
Pete Rose at 44. The most recent 2000s plus guy, Jimmy Rollins, had 38 straight games in 05-06. But again, behind by a month and a half.
They're all impressive. Okay? And remember, DiMaggio, after being held hitless, went on a 16-game hitting streak. He could have been to 73.
Yeah.
If Ken Keltner doesn't make 2 great plays at third for Cleveland, he could have gotten to 73 games. I mean, Gretzky, 212 points, not going to be broken. Bobby Orr, plus minus 120 in a season, not going to be touched. Okay? All right, we talked about the great NBA records. Wilt Chamberlain, rebounds in a game, not going to be touched. Okay, that's not going to be touched. Right? I mean, Russell's got a whole bunch of rebound games in the 20s and 30s. And somebody gets 20 rebounds in a game now. Oh, my God, it's an ESPN headline. It was a regularity with Chamberlain and Russell. They were in the 20s and 30s and rebounding all the time. Those records are not going to be touched.
I'll add in Michael Phelps, 28 overall Olympic gold medals. Like, how 20 Olympic medals won 23 golds. Like, how do you do that? I think Ledecky could get there because she's so absurdly dominant. All right, well, but that's it.
But life is different now, okay? Because there weren't as many events back in the day.
Yes.
Okay, now you have more events that you can possibly get in it. It's just the longevity with which he did it.
Yeah.
Like Mark Spitz won 9 Olympic gold medals, okay? 7 of them were in Munich. The other 2 were in relays in Mexico City, which people never remember. But... So 28's a tribute to his longevity. I think that, let's see. We'll see if Djokovic can get to 25, because I think that's going to be extremely difficult to beat in terms of Grand Slam wins. Nicholas's 18 Grand Slam wins. You're not going to get there. Okay, if Tiger Woods can't get there, nobody's going to get there. Okay, you won 18. Not only that, in Grand Slams, you know how many times he finished second? 19 times.
Not bad.
Right? In the neighborhood. Right? That's not going to be beaten. I'm trying to go through all the different sports about.
A lot of them are just longevity things.
Yeah.
Like, is someone going to get more than 11 NBA championships and beat Bill Russell?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Like, again, the only one who could have done it maybe would have been LeBron, but even he couldn't get there.
He's 7 short.
Yeah. But that's the thing.
And one of them is in the pandemic.
Especially now, it is more competitive than it has ever been, where you've got, and it's all injuries and all these crazy things happen where it just derails seasons. Like, if LeBron doesn't lose...
Yvonne Cornway, a winger for the Montreal Canadiens, was a part of 12 Stanley Cup championships. Nobody's going to get that. Nobody's going to do it. Okay? There's team records. Somebody's going to win 28 World Series like the Yankees, or 20. I guess it's 27 now. 28 World Series like the Yankees. Somebody's going to do that. Stanley Cups. I think Montreal's won 24 of them, 23, 24. Nobody's going to get the 24 Stanley Cups, right, in the history of the game. First of all, just let's start with the beginning. The Washington Capitals just finished their 50th season. There's so many new teams, they have no chance to accumulate them. Montreal goes back to the beginning of time in the NHL. You're not going to get that along the way. You're not. Now the Celtics and Lakers I think the Celtics have 18. The Lakers have. Do they have 18? I think they have 18, right? I think that both the Celtics and Lakers each have 18.
I think so.
But other than those two teams, nobody's going to get close.
I want to add in terms of rushing record, I think Emmitt Smith, like, especially now, the NFL doesn't run. The NFL does not run the ball enough.
They don't.
18,000 yards is a lot. And the closest we've seen in recent years, of course, Frank Gore.
I think
got to 16,000.
Yeah, I think getting over 10,000 yards now is going to be a big deal.
It would take you 10 to 15 years of really good rushing. I think
Jerry Rice's touchdown record is not going to be touched. Now, I didn't think Jim Brown's would be, and then Jerry Rice passed him.
Yeah.
But I think that Jerry Rice's touchdown record is not going to be passed.
Heck, I'll chuck his receiving record in there. The next closest guy is Larry Fitzgerald at 17,500. Jerry's got 23,000.
I know.
Like, that is an absurd gap.
Right.
And even in a passing league today, the top guys you have there, Julio Jones is about to retire. He's got 13,700. He's 9,000 back. DeAndre Hopkins, 10,000 back. Mike Evans, 10,000 back. Travis Kelce, 10,000. Like, you go down the list, you're like, you would have to have
not even close.
10 to 15 years of great receiving to get close.
Now, do I think Eric Dickerson's single-season rushing record? Yes. That can be passed. And remember, if you're healthy, you've got the 17th game to do it. Right? So that can be passed. I mean, in fact, Saquon Barkley had a shot at it and bypassed it.
Yeah.
Okay? So that can be passed. I think Paul Krause's 82 career interceptions will not be passed. There's going to be somebody gets to 30, it's a big deal. I mean, they want to give a parade to Jalen Ramsey, who's got, 23, 24 in his career? Hey, that's great. Okay, good for you. They throw the ball all the time. They just don't pick the ball off. His 82 interceptions, never going to be touched. Okay? Just won't be. Now, was Paul Krause a great defender with Washington and Minnesota? No, he played center field. He played a lot of center field with him. But he took advantage of it, to his credit. I mean, so that's a record that won't be broke. I think, let's see what else probably can't be broke. I mean, I think the odds of somebody getting to Barry Bonds 762 home runs is long.
It would take you being Aaron Judge for another decade.
But Aaron Judge has over 300 right now. Right?
That's what I was saying. It'd be another decade of doing what you're doing.
But Aaron Judge is also, he's older. People don't realize he's 32. Right? It's like, and he's been injury free the last 2 years, but he has been prone at times to having injuries. So I don't think that's going to be broken. I think the Pete Rose's 4,256 hits will not be broken.
I will give you another one, which I think you would agree with.
And also Cal Ripken's consecutive games played, 2,630. It's not going to be broken.
I'll give you a soccer one, which I think you would agree to. So you play approximately 40 games a season. Probably let's go up to 60 games in a calendar year for your team.
Right.
How many goals could you score in 60 games, hypothetically? You think would be like the number in a calendar year? 365 days, you play about 60 games, 65 games.
Like you're a great player?
Year. Great player.
Probably 15.
15? The record for most goals scored in one calendar year was set by Leo Messi in 2012. 91.
Yeah.
He averaged, what, every 4 days he scored another goal?
Yeah.
Twice a week, 91. The closest guy was Gerd Muller, 85. And then the most recent we've had cross 60, we got Robert Lewandowski to 69. Pele's got 75 and 72. 91 in a calendar year is just absurd. Like, every single game you knew he was going to score a goal or two.
Yeah.
Every single game.
So he's better than that Peel guy, huh?
Yeah. But walking in to every single game he played, he scored 59 goals in La Liga. He scored 13 in the Champions League, 7 in cup competitions, 5 in World Cup qualifiers, 7 in international friendlies, 79 goals for his club in a year. That's just like...
absurd.
The numbers are bonkers.
It's absurd.
It's absurd. So I just... That's where I go to in terms of
that's absurd.
It is absurd. It's crazy. It's a little nutso. So I just want to bring up some fun here on the show. Bring up some fun, some numbers, some records, some craziness, because it is downright crazy. By the way, the NHL players have been given the okay to play in the 2026 Olympics.
That was part of their... Gary Bettman said a year and a half ago, he says, no, he says they want to play in the Olympics and I want them to play in the Olympics.
Now it is official. They are allowed to play in the Olympics.
Which means they want to go to an 84-game schedule, but they have to jerry-rig the schedule in 26 and 30 to do this because you have to give time out to play. Yeah.
So that is going on as we speak. That's the big stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
I know it's of July, so football is played, I believe, the end of the month, next month, start of the next month?
Well, you have CFL right now.
CFL. I know when is the what's it called game? The Canton game.
Hall of Fame game?
Hall of Fame game.
I'm gonna say August 5th.
July 31st. There is football this month.
July
31st, 8 p.m. Canton, Ohio at Tom Benson Hall of Fame. The Detroit Lions and the LA Chargers. So there will be football in July.
Oh, good.
Book it, Steve.
So you got Detroit from Michigan facing Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers.
Yep. What could in the state of Ohio, by the way?
Yes, in the state of Ohio.
Just to add a little more fun in there.
Yes.
What could possibly go wrong?
I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, that makes sense. So sports-wise, we're hanging out, we're relaxing. There's stories coming out here and there. There's still more NBA stuff. Wimbledon's going on right now, which is interesting to watch. A lot of upsets going on.
ESPN has a huge problem right now. Coco Gauff and Jesse Pegula are both out. That's a huge problem. You need drawing cards. All right. No offense, Sablenka is a terrific player, not a drawing card. Right, terrific player. I mean, there's a lot of terrific players, but if it doesn't move, again, let's go back to the original conversation about the WNBA. Who moves the needle? Okay, well, in women's tennis right now, in American eyes, it's Coco Gauff, Jesse Pegula. They move the needle. Okay, there's not an international star that moves the needle. On the men's side, there is. It's Novak Djokovic.
Yeah. On the men's side of things right now, hopping over there, I believe tomorrow Sinner plays. Of course, the one he plays.
But again,
on the third.
Sinner brings with him and Alcaraz.
Djokovic also plays in the third.
Right, they're both really good players. Sinner does not move the needle in America,
and Alcaraz
does.
He is currently in his second set.
Alcaraz does, by the way.
Yeah, he is about to win his match against Tarve. They're playing as we speak. And he is on the other side of the bracket, of course, the center. So there's a real strong chance that Carlos Alcaraz ends up in the finals. And as you said, yes, he is a needle mover. He is not just fun to watch, but he is just this enigmatic figure who brings people like to watch tennis. Like I've gone to find out tennis channels to watch him.
Sure.
And he's 20, 21?
Yeah.
So he's really incredible to watch. A lot's going on all over the place, and
well, I mean, we're in that period leading up to the All-Star game,
leading up to football returning.
And by the way, Katie Schumacher-Cauley is going to get the Jimmy V Award at the ESPYs. I mean, because she's been able to ring the bell, which is great. You know, I mean, obviously, I've known Katie since she played here, and to see her come back, coach the team, put her own personal stamp on the team. You know, because Russ Rose, an unbelievably great coach. Okay, it is very difficult to step in to be the next person after the legend. Yet to her credit, she's done it.
She has,
and she's formed the team in her image and her style as to how she wants to play. And you can't do it unless you have confidence in yourself and a lot of intestinal fortitude and guts, and her cancer fight showed all of that. Right? And they won the national title, and she'll be justifiably honored at the ESPYs.
And to wrap up the show, we discussed the Pirates, of course, a few days ago. The Pittsburgh Pirates now have won 7 of their last 9. They beat St. Louis last night 1-0.
Yes.
They are on a hot streak. They're playing the Cardinals again tonight, or again today.
And the Cardinals, by the way, have been playing well.
They've been playing well. St. Louis is 47-40 on the season.
Yep.
But Pittsburgh is slowly climbing. The Cubs are a great team.
By the way, the Skeens started last night's game. Pitched the first 5-inning shutout baseball. They just can't score any runs when he's actually physically pitching in the game.
He holds teams to low enough numbers. Just the question is, can they score enough runs? So now we get into the period where we're watching some baseball here and there. Wimbledon's going on, the preliminaries. The finals will be this weekend, next week. So a lot of the chill period in sports is here. So we get to relax and enjoy ourselves. Next summer, it is not the case, though, because that is when the World Cup goes on, and I will be going bananas the entire time.
What are we supposed to read? Uruguay scores? What are we doing?
Well, someone's going to be in town. Their teams are staying here in State College.
Yeah, I understand that. What are you going to do? Like stalk them, camp out?
I'm going to say, hey, if you want to grab a bite to eat, you got to come on the show with Sports Talk with Steve Jones and sit in the chair.
They're going to look and go, who the heck is that?
Thank you for listening to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, a 7 Mountain Media production. Come back at 11 every weekday for analysis of the latest happening in the sports landscape. From college football to European soccer, Steve and Kyle cover it all on Sports Talk with Steve Jones.